Hey, welcome back traders to another live stream. Here we are going to be evaluating a little bit of Bitcoin as it is at all-time highs now. You guys know that we've been really bullish on this name. As well, we'll be looking at the triple Qs, the SPYs. The overall market is in an uptrend, all-time highs, bull market all the way through. We're seeing as well strength in NVDA. We'll be looking at that a little bit later, as well at Tesla. We'll be looking a little bit more here at Palantir, Amazon, and ASML, which is actually setting up, and I believe this has more upside. I really like the fundamentals of the company as also matching the technical. So let's get straight into it. So as you guys can see, we are on a daily chart here of Bitcoin on my trading view here, and it's showing here some really intense upside momentum. Very nice towards upside here. Yeah, it's signifying a lot of strength here. So just looking at this, we broke above this prior area of consolidation that we were in for quite a while, ever since we kind of decelerated the trend, and ever since May 22nd, and we were kind of consolidating until now that we broke above here on July 10th today, and we're seeing intense upside momentum. You guys know that I've been bullish, especially since each time we dipped below the $200,000 level right here, because it was forming a level of confluence. As you guys know, it was signifying that there was more upside ahead, as you guys know. So this area of 100,000 was a level. We'll put it as green to signify here the buyers that were present during this time. And each time that we came back, we actually found support here, and I told you guys that it was looking quite nice to buy here Bitcoin, because it was a level of confluence, right? We had the 50 EMA, the yellow line, matching with this key area of support and psychological 100,000. That's where we found buyers. We came back again, and we also saw that another opportunity to buy Bitcoin here at this level here, and then we've been nothing but going towards upside. We formed a higher low at this point here, and we've been increasing towards upside with higher highs and higher lows. If you take a little moment, step back, and kind of clear this up for you guys here and remove the level, we see that we can project the upside targets here. We are still bullish, and we see Bitcoin reaching $130,000. That is our next price target, where we believe firmly that it will be struck with the next area of supply. And also as well, if we take a little look and kind of gauge how we can get the second price target, right? Because we usually don't like to just have one, because we don't know if how much bullishness there will be. We like to expect more bullishness here on Bitcoin. So in order for that, we'll revert back to the fundamentals of technical analysis. You guys know that when we have a kind of like a flag pattern like this, we always like to measure the pole, right? So from this movement, let's measure from the April lows here. Let's measure that movement all the way to where we started flagging, which is considered like the pole of the flag, and that's around 33, we'll say 34,000. So at the break, now that it's breaking, we can project that extension here towards upside. So 34,000 projection, and let's see, 34,000 right there. So we get a price target towards this area here, exactly around 146,000. That's the second price target for Bitcoin. So let me just clear this up for you guys. So this is price target number one, where we may find the next area of supply, and Bitcoin has room to go towards that price. Obviously, it's not going to go in a straight line immediately towards. Obviously, we're going to take some time, but eventually I believe Bitcoin does have the capability of reaching that price. And the second price target would be here now towards here 147,000. That is going to be price target number two here on Bitcoin. And as you guys know, we're looking at this on a daily chart. We've never been at these highs, all-time highs. Yep, historical all-time highs here for Bitcoin, showing the intense upside momentum. You guys may be asking, well, how can I play this, right? Well, we have IBIT, which is the fund that tracks Bitcoin, and as well looking at another crypto name that is going to, I think, move alongside the leader, because the leader is Bitcoin. We take a moment here and look at Ethereum. So taking a quick little look at that, we've been pretty bullish on Ethereum as well, pretty much the whole crypto space, especially with the deregulation that there's been here with the U.S. government, the new administration that came in. We saw that nice upper momentum until we started to just fall towards the April lows, and we saw that rebound. As you guys can see here, we are really bullish on Ethereum as Bitcoin is pumping as well. What I would like to see here is a break towards the upside here. So something like this. Let me just kind of clear it for you guys. So you guys can see that we are well above the swing high anchored VWAP. So the sellers are now losing money on average. We came down low and actually captured some liquidity at these lows here to get some more demand, and that's what prompted the price to go up higher. As you guys can see as well, we are now above the 50 MA, and these key areas are forming confluence, signifying that the buyers are now fully in control of the name here of Ethereum. And pretty much it all depends on what the overall market decides to do, but we still have price targets for Ethereum towards $3,500 and $3,700 around here, which are the next areas of resistance, obviously based here off the chart towards here and towards here. That's where Ethereum is going to be headed, we believe. So we'll put that here for you guys so there's no confusion. Price target number 1 and price target number 2 there. And the way you can play this is going to be through ETHA, which is here ETF that tracks and holds here a little bit of Ethereum, the iShares here. And I say your break above $21 can be had towards a target of here towards $26 and $28 would be the next price targets there here on Ethereum, and that can obviously be played through options, and they're really cheap. So if you're really long, you can add a lot of leverage here, especially on these names here. So I'm looking really long. You guys know now my overall thesis on Bitcoin and Ethereum now that it's all-time highs. And actually we saw this, let's see if we look this at a smaller time frame, the hourly. We saw the bid come intensely here at around, see, today at around 9 in the morning. That's what prompted us to go higher. We saw some intense volume as well on the previous day here on Wednesday at around 12 midday. Let's see. Yeah, 12 midday we saw that intense upside move with the candle towards upside, and then we kind of pulled back, kind of consolidating, kind of digesting the price action, pulled back kind of towards this area here of the 50 MA. You guys can see that right here, and we broke above now towards upside. So very nice to see that on the overall Ethereum chart. Now looking at the overall market, the triple Q is on the upside here. We've been saying to be long here the overall markets. We actually entered a long position here as we broke above this swing high anchored VWAP. Here we actually found support today on the day at a 7:30. We were actually down on the day, but we found support here from this prior swing high anchored VWAP. So we broke above, we came back and retested that, and that's what I really like to see, and that's what we saw this bounce here on the market. We did close negative on the day, but it's not really too major now that we take into account that we've been breaking all-time highs, and also a lot of cloud names kind of sold off. Not really any negative news at all, mostly profit taking. We saw a lot of selling in CrowdStrike as well in Zscaler, etc. You know, and it's obvious, right? We're going to see some profit taking after these intense upside moves and momentum that we've been seeing here on these names, but the overall market still looks bullish. I have price targets here on the triple Q towards 560. That's a key psychological level, and we do have some positions, some call options towards that price. And yeah, we still have a nice expiration date, so we're giving ourselves enough time so that data does not devalue our contract there. So we're looking bullish on that. Looking at the SPY now, finishing better off than the overall triple Qs, because today a lot of tech was sold off, but here it was again. Break above here is a swing trade long, and that's what happened. We went above this swing high anchored VWAP from where sellers emerged here on Thursday, July 3rd, which was actually before, I believe, yeah, Independence Day. So that short there pumped up quite well. We've gapped up above it on Wednesday when we came back a little bit a day later, and then we pulled back exactly to it right here, and now we've been holding as support, and we've been long here since the break of 622, and we're actually around $3 in the money, so it's quite nice to see that. The overall market here on the post market is doing not bad. It's a little bit lower, but still well above this high that we see. If the stock does, the overall market does decide to pull back, we may see some support here at this important confluence zone that you guys see right here, because that is where buyers are most likely to be found right here. So taking this off, let's see, not bad. Looking at a daily, market is still to the long side. There's no fears for a crash. exactly, we broke above the all-time highs here of 613, and looks like nothing happened during these April lows. Let's see. Yeah, so pretty much it was just a perfect buy the dip opportunity in a lot of names that were pretty much in a discount during this intense sell-off, right? And to be quite honest, it was quite obvious that we weren't going to see those tariffs being implemented at very absurd rates, and as well they weren't economically feasible during the duration they were supposed to be implemented or last, right? The duration of it did not make sense. Economically, just the math wasn't mathing, honestly. It was like they just used ChatGPT and gave random percentages there, but yeah, that was such a nice opportunity here, and a lot of people bought, including myself. A lot of names here, discounts, like for example Amazon, NVDA here at the lows, which was very quite nice to see that kind of opportunity to buy here on these lows here, as the market kind of rebounded in the month of April after we kind of got a little bit of de-escalation there on the charts. Looking now at Palantir, very strong name, still towards the upside. We went long here at 136 break as it went above the swing high anchored VWAP, and we've been holding quite well. It's doing quite well, actually $6 in the money. On this position, we've been actually put a little note here long. We were really long at the break of this prior area of resistance. We were kind of consolidating for a little bit for around 2 days, and then we gapped up and saw intense upside momentum. And looking at this at an hourly chart here, kind of zooming in a little bit more, that's where we saw the upside momentum. And guess where we found support today? We saw an intense sell-off today at the open, very intense on the first hour of the day, and then we found support exactly at this anchored VWAP. Like I'm telling you guys, these levels don't miss, right? They're dynamic areas of support where true individuals want to know what's the average entry price of these individuals that broke above this prior area of supply, right? It's pretty much it's not rocket science, right? It's simple. The more easier you make technical analysis, the better it becomes, the better you perform as well. There's no need to include all these indicators, all these lines, etc. Obviously every individual has a different type of way to trade, right? And different indicators of preference, like more people like to use RSI, reversions, MACDs, all that. As long as you find your own type of trade setup and indicators that you feel confident in, and obviously you back test your strategy, then you should be confident, right? You don't kind of ignore the news, the bearishness, etc., and just go by your thesis, right? Because you test it and you have a pretty high win rate, then you should follow your thesis, right? So yeah, pretty long here. Found support exactly at that level of 140. If you look at the 5-minute chart, that's exactly where we found support, and it formed confluence. Let's see if we zoom in. Formed confluence with the 200 EMA. So this level was a very strong buy even on a day trade, and would have entered there, would have given you $2 gain here in return on Palantir for the day trade. So quite nice to see that on the name. Now going back to the 1 hour and going to NVIDIA, the king, the $4 trillion market cap. Where's it at? Right there. Still holding the $4 trillion today at $164. Kind of pulled back a little bit here in the pre-markets, down like 2 cents, but it's insignificant, nothing too major. We see intense upside momentum, and today was a long at 8:30 as it broke above this prior area of resistance at 163 and gave us a dollar move towards upside. Right there, yep, right there. So it gave us a nice upward move towards the day highs, and just closed off at all-time highs with a $4 trillion valuation. We still have further upside. You guys can check out my video where I kind of went deeper into the technicals and a little bit of fundamentals here on NVIDIA and our price targets. We firmly believe the stock has more to go, basically on the technicals and the momentum that we've been seeing here, right, being heavily backed by a lot of institutions and growth funds. And we're still seeing further upside. And yeah, I invite you guys to watch that video, completely free on my YouTube channel. We posted it, I believe, last week or this week as well. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but very nice video that we made there. So yeah, really bullish. Amazon is setting up for bullishness here, as you guys can see. There it is now. It's gapping up at $223.63 per share. So as you guys can see, using the 1 hour, we kind of, using the 5 minute, kind of erase this and use anchor to VWAPs from the swing high, so that we can see here, right? So we had a nice upward trend ever since Thursday, June 26th, and we saw nothing but upside, right? We kind of pulled back, consolidated, saw upward move, but then we started to consolidate, right? So we saw a nice upside move, and now we're kind of within this little bit of a range here, you guys can see, right? But I believe Amazon now is on the verge of breaking that, so I say a break of 224 is a fully long position. You guys know that on my Uplift Markets newsletter, which is completely free, you guys can subscribe to it. We've been really bullish on the trade of the week on Amazon as a swing trade. We firmly believe the upside, the longer term as well, not just a swing trade. I firmly believe that they have a very strong moat. They're heavily investing in AWS. They know it's the futures. Investors know this, and we've seen revenue growth there on AWS. They're investing quite heavily on, how do I say, the future here, which is cloud. They have AWS, and they also have Amazon Prime, but I wouldn't really say that Amazon is really, how do I say it, it's not just a retailer, basically, right? They have AWS, which can pretty much be used to increment their margins, right, by having more efficiency in their logistics, right, replacing workers, right, through robots, and innovating through that with Amazon robotics, and having the brains, the training with AWS, etc., which they can later obviously maybe rent out to the majority of other retailers like Walmart, Costco, etc., now that they have the training done. And yeah, we're really bullish on Amazon on the long term, especially with AWS, and I believe here it's setting up for a nice swing trade on the daily chart. If we kind of zoom out, let's see, we still have itself above the 50 EMA. We actually pulled back, found support exactly there, strong confluence zone on May 23rd here, and this year, and we still have price targets towards 243 and final price target of 292 on Amazon. Obviously, it's for a longer term swing trade, but you guys be surprised how fast we get towards those prices, especially now that we are in a very intense bullish market here. We did see Jeff Bezos did sell some of his positioning. We saw some selling. Maybe that's what's causing these difficulties to get towards upside compared to the Max 7, right? Kind of taking a little bit of time because we're encountering some supply at the top. But once he's done selling, I firmly believe that we'll see now no supply at the top, and the demand just the buyers bidding up the price heavily towards the highs. Even I think we can do all-time highs on Amazon and reach the price target that we have there. So really bullish on that. Tesla, we made a full analysis on this, and to be honest, on the longer term investing, it's not looking too good. We've been seeing the revenues decline. They're doing, I guess, alright, but they're losing a lot of market share against BYD. They have a low gross margin. It's been declining over the past 3 years, etc. But yeah, the stock has been nothing but a mess. Very difficult for shareholders. Yeah, there was a lot of hype here. This bid was kind of this little rally was due to the fact with the robotaxi reveal. So a lot of people kind of bought the rumor and they sold the news here. The robotaxi kind of declined. And then we had this little feud with Elon Musk and President Donald Trump here, which had a very strong loss here. I think on this day, on the June 5th, the short sellers profited more than $4 billion, I believe, in short. So it was an intense day. It lost a lot of value, opened at 321 and closed at 285. Like, that is a lot of market share. A lot of, money gone in the company, pretty much evaporated. And you can see from these swing high anchors, we're finding a lot of resistance here. Obviously, Tesla was up on the day around a little bit more than 4 3/4% here. But, I feel like we're going to find some resistance at this zone here. Let's see. Yeah, 319. Yeah. Around this zone, we'll find some resistance. And tomorrow's Friday, so with the market a little bit laid back, I think we're going to see some profit taking from these nice intense moves we've been seeing since the beginning of the week, since Monday, 290 all the way up to 309. Honestly, if I were a participant in this name, I'd look to take some profit off, obviously. So I think Friday we'll probably see Tesla decline due to the profit taking after the intense moves we've been seeing, especially today with the stock being up around 5%. But I'm not looking long this name at all until we break above here, this 330. That would be kind of like my shifting here towards the long side, so it would kind of instantiate the position. Probably see that, a break, come back, test it, or even not test it if there's a lot of demand, and boom, form this higher high, boom, into long, right? So yeah, it really all depends on, I guess, the earnings are not too far away too. They're expected here on July 23rd, so that's around a little bit less than 2 weeks from now. And their earnings estimated is around 50 cents here, earnings per share, revenue 22.57 billion. But as you guys know, they've kind of been missing recently on their EPS and revenue, so it's not looking too good here for Elon Musk, except they do some type of really good earnings, or momentum kind of shifts here, this investor sentiment shifts here on Tesla. Going now to what I believe is possibly the best setup here right now in the market, and that is going to be ASML. Here on the daily chart, it's looking absolutely amazing, like an absolute beast. If you kind of clear these off, sorry you guys, I have a pretty big mess here, to be honest, pretty big mess. So you can see here, I actually have an alert to notify me when we get above this $814 level. So if you kind of zoom out, right, on the overall chart, we see that ASML was doing pretty well during the beginning of, the second half of around 2024, and then after June we just saw this intense sell-off, right? For some reason they kept missing on earnings. There was this negative sentiment that just kind of boiled within the company, but the financials are growing. I like the fundamentals of ASML. I firmly believe that the stock is undervalued. The PE, I don't think it's not too bad, but I do see further upside, right? You guys have to acknowledge that they produce the machines that develop the chips, right? So it's kind of their, how do I say it? They're creating the shovels in this gold rush, you could say. And something I really like on this name is that we're finally above the 200 EMA, as well as we're finally above the 50. So being above the 50 and 200, which is very strong bullish indication here, because below that, prior to that, on August here, the 2024, etc., during this long time we were below the 200, below the 50, and that's what we saw, the bearish trend. This April low came in. Ever since the April lows, right, we've been bidding up here at $600, etc., but I believe now it's setting up, right? And I'll tell you why, right? Here I have my justifications here. We saw some buyers come in, we came down lower, sellers try to bring the price down here at this level. I'll kind of put arrows here, so sellers try to bring the price lower, but buyers came in at the 50, brought it back up. Sellers try to bring it down again, but we found support exactly at this confluence level, which was here on June 20th, which was, I believe, an amazing buying opportunity here on ASML. Look at this confluence zone. We have the three indicators matching, the 200 EMA, the 50 EMA, and an important anchored VWAP, signaling that buyers are present from the majority of those indicators, and that's how we've been seeing nothing but an upside. Pulled back, and this looks like of the formation here, this $776 level, the formation of a higher low, which is showing the upside momentum in the name. And I firmly believe that if we form a new higher high here, so we kind of pull back, form another higher low, and break above this 820, it's a long on ASML, which has a lot of prospects, a lot of growth in the fundamentals, and we can target here on the swing trade towards the next areas of resistance here of 872. I'll put them as red to signify that there are some sellers there, and the next area of resistance of 943 towards that area. And I believe that here we'll probably see some decline, and firmly we can challenge the highs, right? But the next price targets that I have here locally on ASML is going to be here, $872 level, so price target number 1, and the final price target is going to be here, price target number 2 at $943.24. Obviously, if the stock, let's see, makes a new higher high and breaks here this $820 level, which is also a very important psychological level that a lot of sellers are looking at. And yeah, it's catching people off guard. As you guys can see, a little bit of the fundamentals. I like when some fundamentals match with the technicals here, but if we look here, earnings are in 5 days, so maybe that's why we're seeing this intense upside. We're buying ahead of the earnings. Average volume is 1.4 million shares, so it's not too bad for day trades, but swing trade is better. Market cap $308 billion. A lot of growth here. We see the revenue is been increasing, kind of stalling a little bit here, but it's been on the upside. This is the earnings, I believe. I apologize. And look at the revenue. So kind of zooming this here. Look at the revenue. Absolutely amazing revenue growth. It shows strength of the company. They're also going pretty much gaining clients, so I'm liking that. Net income has been increasing. It's a little bit stalled at 2021 2022, but it's been increasing. Not bad. It's up 13% year to date. Not bad. And yeah, technicals show strong buy, and analysts give it a rating of a buy, so that matches. Fundamentals matching the technicals, a very strong buy. And yeah, I'm just telling you guys to really watch out for this name. And yeah, tell me if you guys are bullish on that. So apart from that, I think that was all I wanted to do today here on the live stream. As always, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and if you guys have any tickers that you guys would like me to analyze, feel free to drop them down in the comment section below or in the live chat as well, and I'll be happily I'll oblige to that as well. And apart from that, stay uplifted and don't let the markets whip you guys out. I'll see you guys tomorrow with the next video, which will be at 1 p.m.